Gersh with Easy School Marketing. I'm excited you're here with me today. So today we're going to talk about parent involvement and opportunities and volunteer opportunities. Now, why is this important right now? Because a lot of schools right now are kind of like, okay, we're ready to involve the parents. Or maybe you're embarking on an auction season and you're wondering, how am I going to get the chairs? And maybe you're planning for next year and saying, okay, now we are actually going to do more parent stuff. We need more help. So how are we going to get our parents involved? And how do we start asking for leadership positions now? So I'd like to share a little bit of what we're seeing happening in schools. So in general, the parents that we're talking to, these, are often our dual, working parents, and they're busy and they want to volunteer. Like, they want to help out at the school, but either one of two things happens. One, the volunteer opportunity doesn't align with the way they want to volunteer, right? And the school has never asked, how do you want to volunteer? Or like, what would be a meaningful volunteer experience for you? And so, for example, I remember my sister-in-law telling me a long time ago, and it was great advice. She was like, I used to be on the, Parents Association board of all these places, and I would go in late nights and do meetings and we'd plan all these events and stuff, but she realized that that wasn't aligning with how she actually wanted to volunteer. She wanted to be in the classroom with her kids, meeting the other children and going on field trips with them and stuff like that. That was more of a meaningful opportunity for her. And so when she aligned that, she realized the other thing wasn't a good fit. And I found that as in my role as a parent at an independent school, I found what are the things I actually really align with how I want to engage with the school and volunteer for the school. And I found the things that work for me. So number one, it's aligning that volunteer experience with what is a meaningful volunteer experience for them, that they're actually interested in doing. And number two is rethinking the volunteer structure. So before, I've worked with many different parent volunteer organizations. I've built parent association structures before in the past. So before, you might have had this amazing, parents association president, and they did everything and they were on top of it, and they expanded things and they did everything. They went above and beyond. And then then they roll off, their term has ended and you're trying to replace them, and no one wants the job. They're no. The Susie P over here did an amazing job and we cannot live up to it. And so what parents are really looking for, we've noticed, and what schools are finding, is that parents are shying away from those bigger chair positions or leadership positions. They're looking for bite-sized pieces of things that they can own that might be, this month could you, we'd love for you to make these 5 calls, right? And it's super, the parents yes, I can help out the school in that way because it's a succinct time frame. It's not carrying through the year. I can make it work in my schedule, right? So we're finding that parents are kind of wanting a little bit of more of that. Not to say you can't find those leadership positions, but what we're encouraging our schools to do is really, when you're looking at those leadership positions, is being very clear on hours and the obligation, and presenting that to the person prior to them accepting, a job description. Here are the hours, here are the events, and rethinking it in terms of what is reasonable to ask a parent nowadays to give of their time, and how can we make this kind of position work for parents, for parents who are busy, right? And that is what we found has been really helpful in engaging more and more parents. Smaller task-oriented pieces, and then also rethinking your bigger roles. How can you break them up a little bit more? How can you make them more, parent friendly? So I hope that those two things really help you as you're moving through and rethinking your volunteer engagement, and looking forward to next year about what does your volunteer structure look like? If you need help, we're just an email away, Aubrey@easyschoolmarketing.com. Thanks.